Right now, businesses along State Street say panhandling is getting out of control, putting their employees at risk.
And as Hurricane Dorian slowly turns to the north, we're hearing from a Wisconsin native who has been riding out the storm in the Bahamas.
Plus, another community considers taking up new anti-bullying ordinance as kids return to schools all across southern Wisconsin.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for joining us. Business owners at the top of State Street say they feel less and less safe with the uptick in crime and aggressive behavior in that area late at night.
Well, they say aggressive panhandling, late night fights, assaults, they're all among the many things they have to deal with. They want the city and police to step up. Jamie Perez spoke with those businesses and she joins us from the top of State Street. Jamie?
Well, this area behind me, actually, right at the top of State Street, is that problematic area that a lot of business owners are talking about. They say that after 10 o'clock, it gets particularly bad, especially when it comes to that aggressive panhandling that you just mentioned. But today we asked the city what and if there's anything that they can do about it.
This isn't the first time or the second time we've done stories about State Street safety. Russell St. John is an assistant manager at Ian's Pizza. He told me he calls the cops at least once a week to help dissolve issues.
It's a little bit frustrating to have to play that role, and you feel like a bad person when you tell someone, hey, you know, you can't do this.
The most recent incidents being fights inside and outside the restaurant late at night and aggressive panhandling.
A lot of people asking to bum cigarettes, asking for, you know, $1 or $2. A lot of times we wind up with people inside the store, which is kind of where we start to take issue with it.
He also acknowledged that the panhandling has been so aggressive at times that employees have been assaulted.
It makes people kind of uncomfortable, so we've had a bit of turnover from it.
Mike Revere is the alder for this part of town. He says in terms of panhandling, it's a form of protected speech, and there isn't much the city can do.
It's something that I'm very frustrated that we can't do more about. And again, it's because of case law and the fact that our panhandling ordinances are on very dubious legal ground constitutionally.
Russell St. John says he does as much policing as he can because of this.
Unfortunately, the police in Madison work on metrics. So when all the businesses go away, people aren't calling 911, which then they don't have the metrics to report at the end of the year to say, hey, you know, downtown needs extra resources allocated for the 5 to midnight time.
Revere said there is a way for businesses to help themselves in an aggressive panhandling situation going forward.
Call 911 and report it so that people can be arrested for disorderly conduct, because that's the only law that we have on the books to deal with this.
Until then, it will be up to businesses to follow up with that advice if the line between panhandling and assault is crossed, to hopefully get the response from police they're looking for.
As far as like just safety goes up here at the top of State, just increased patrols. We definitely notice a difference inside of our restaurant when there's a police presence out at the top of State Street.
And I did reach out to the Madison Police Department as well as the mayor to respond to those comments, but neither of them were available for an on-camera interview today. Now, tomorrow at the Central Library at 6 o'clock, there will be a neighborhood public input meeting where they will hopefully address some of these issues that have been going on State Street.
All right, Jamie Perez live downtown tonight. Jamie, thank you.
A silver alert has been issued tonight for a missing woman from Oxford, Wisconsin. That is in Marquette County. This is 90-year-old Lucille Lucy Schultz. She was last seen leaving her home around 4 o'clock this afternoon. She was wearing a green sweater and blue jeans. The 5-year-old boy who was thrown off a third-story balcony at the Mall of America is home tonight. This comes nearly 5 months after the incident. Today, the boy's family said their son had completed inpatient treatment and has returned home. He will continue to receive outpatient rehabilitation for multiple injuries. The man who threw him, Emmanuel Aranda, pleaded guilty to attempted premeditated first-degree murder.
The American Red Cross says there are 33 disaster volunteers from Wisconsin on their way to the southeast to help in the response and also the recovery efforts of Hurricane Dorian. We're getting a first look at some of the destruction it caused in the Bahamas. The Red Cross says about 45% of the homes in Grand Bahama and Abaco are destroyed, and so far, at least 7 people have been killed. Bahamian officials say they might not be able to deploy search and rescue teams until sometime tomorrow, but the U.S. Coast Guard says it has started to fly in relief supplies. A Wisconsin native who now lives in the Bahamas has been riding out that storm.
All the roofs are pretty much gone. And then on top of that, you have 7 to 10 feet of water still in town. I mean, I don't know how to really put that into perspective.
Brian Sauer grew up in Green Bay, went to school at UW-Milwaukee, and is now a head brewer at the only brewery in the Bahamas. This is the third hurricane he's experienced since moving to the Bahamas about 4 years ago. That brewery is located in Nassau, which Sauer says did not get the worst of the damage.
Dorian could still make landfall on the U.S. later this week. Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti now with an update.
Charlotte, it looks like the best chances of that happening would be right along the shorelines of the Carolinas. But right now, Dorian is still a powerful hurricane. Latest information from the National Hurricane Center, maximum sustained winds of 110 miles per hour with gusts to 130 miles per hour, moving north-northwest at 6 miles per hour. All the major computer models keep the track just off the Florida coast and then brush the Carolina coast before heading it out into the Atlantic Ocean. So the latest forecast model, or the latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center, keeps it as a Category 2 storm as it brushes the coast of the Carolinas and then heads it out into the Atlantic Ocean and eventually races it northeastward across Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. There are hurricane warnings in effect for much of the Florida and Georgia coast and South Carolina. Hurricane watches and tropical storm watches north of that, and tropical storm warnings inland. Around here, we watched a couple of thunderstorms develop in far southeastern Wisconsin. Those have moved into Michigan and Illinois, but moving away from us. High temperatures today, lower 80s, but much cooler air is on the way. In fact, that 66-degree current temperatures are low for the day, and with dew point temperatures in the mid-50s, temperatures will continue to cool off tonight. Look for low temperatures to be in the mid-50s, high temperatures tomorrow right around 70 degrees with partly sunny skies. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
The final night of the Minnesota State Fair ended in chaos. Late yesterday, a woman was hit by a car, and shortly after that, there was a triple shooting just outside the main gates. Police say they have not made any arrests in the shooting. The 3 people who were shot are all expected to survive. The woman who was hit by the car was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Officers say the person who hit her is the one who called 911 and is cooperating. The executive director of Madison School and Community Recreation is out of jail on a signature bond tonight. He's facing 12 counts of possession of child pornography. The Madison School District placed 44-year-old Jacob Tissue on leave after his arrest on Thursday. Today, the court ordered Tissue have no unsupervised contact with any other children besides his own. He will be in court again next week.
The North Madison apartment building was hit by gunfire this afternoon. Police say shell casings were found in the street in the 1400 block of Trails Way. A witness told police they saw someone shooting toward an apartment building from an SUV. Police did not receive any reports of injuries. An officer fatally shot a suspect after a pursuit this morning in northeastern Wisconsin. Fox Valley Metro police say the chase ended this morning when the suspect crashed near County Highway 00 at State Highway 55 in Kaukauna. Right now, it's unclear what prompted police to shoot or why they were chasing that vehicle.
As the original Michael's Frozen Custard location prepares to close, an attorney representing the owner's husband is asking the community for help. Michael Dix is the owner of Michael's Frozen Custard. He married Sergio de la O Hernandez in 2015. Last August, Hernandez was denied a visa that would allow him to gain legal status in the United States. The pair is now living in Mexico, Hernandez's home country, as they work to appeal the decision. Their attorney hopes letters from the community will help with that process. For more information on where to send those letters, you can go to our website, channel3000.com.
The Sun Prairie City Council is meeting tonight to vote on an ordinance that would hold parents accountable for any bullying that their child is responsible for. Amy Reed joins us now to explain why the council is considering this. Amy?
The ordinance shifted over the course of the night. The alders adjusted the text based on testimony that we heard tonight. A few people got up echoing concerns that we've heard from parents for months now. They said their kids are getting bullied in Sun Prairie schools, and they don't feel the district is doing enough. Now, the district has started an anti-bullying task force, which some alders brought up tonight as a reason not to pass the ordinance, as it would allow the city to cite parents if their kids are found to be a bully. We heard from people both for and against this ordinance. This first woman that you're about to hear from shared a message that she got from a friend today.
On this first day of school today, my daughter finally had enough. She tried to commit suicide. As I sit in this room, as you sit in that room, I will sit here and wish I would have done more.
Restorative justice has the same goals that everybody in this room wants: healing, peace, and community. Using a police citation or police warning to intervene in youth conflict continues the cycle of harm. It shows kids that to stop harming people, that they have to be harmed themselves.
That second woman that you heard from works in restorative justice, and she said that should be implemented here in place of the ordinance. She said the ordinance could have unintended consequences for minority populations if left as is. Now, the alders somewhat agreed, and they included language in the ordinance and an amendment that would allow for restorative justice. And with those changes through the night, the ordinance did pass with a tie-breaking vote from the mayor, making Sun Prairie yet another municipality to institute some anti-bullying ordinances.
Well, it was back to school today for thousands of kids in the Madison School District.
Well, freshmen at La Follette High School got a special greeting complete with a red carpet treatment, a DJ, and donuts. Upperclassmen return to that same welcome tomorrow. Last school year, police investigated alleged sexual assaults involving 2 teens within La Follette. Also responded to reports of fights in a nearby neighborhood where a teen was injured in a shooting. The new principal, Devon LaRosa, hopes parents will come to staff with any worries they have. He plans to address those concerns by focusing on building relationships with students.
Back to school time for students at Ozaki Christian School isn't for another 2 weeks. That's because it is renovating and moving into a new school building, one that used to be home to the Spearmint Rhino Gentlemen's Club. Right now, the stripper pole is gone, but the stage, the bar, and the leopard print rug are still in place. Crews are hard at work getting the building ready for the school's 50 to 60 kindergarten to 8th grade students.
God, in his sense of humor, says, I'm going to take that which was meant not for necessarily great purposes in the life of a family, and I'm going to instead transform it into a place of life and light and hope and joy.
Classes will begin on September 16th on the other end of the building, the side that used to be a daycare. Still ahead tonight, your full forecast for the shortened work week ahead, including a bit of a cool down.
Plus, Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway unveils her first capital budget proposal. Take a look at some of the items it includes. Stay with us. Welcome back. Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway unveiled her first capital budget proposal today. It includes funding for bus rapid transit. That would make the plan a reality by 2024. It increases the city's investment in flood mitigation projects and focuses on affordable housing. The mayor says from 2007 to 2015, 9 out of every 10 new Madison residents were renters. The budget makes $1 million available each year to acquire land that can be used to build affordable housing and other neighborhood supporting developments. $3.6 billion of military construction funding will be used to build 11 portions of a barrier along the U.S.-Mexico border. The Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, approved use of the money in a letter to Congress. In February, President Trump announced plans to use military money to get the barrier built. The Department of Defense says 127 military construction projects will now have to be put on hold. Construction is expected to begin in about 135 days.
It took more than 100 years to happen, but for the first time, the Cherokee Nation is sending an official representative to Congress. The Council of the Cherokee Nation approved Kimberly Teehee as a delegate to the U.S. House of Representatives. The choice of delegate fulfills a promise the federal government made to the tribe in a treaty nearly 200 years ago, connected to the Trail of Tears. The federal government promised the tribe a delegate as part of its compensation for that action. There are 3 new proposals circulating in the state legislature designed to help struggling farmers. The bills would help farmers pay off college debt, plan for retirement, and encourage diverse operations. The measures, which was unveiled today, are sponsored by Democrats but have bipartisan support. They are the latest attempt to slow the number of farms going bankrupt in Wisconsin. Organizers of Freak Fest have announced the lineup for this year's event. Tickets for the show go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Tickets can be purchased at madfreakfest.com or purchased in person at several local stores. The annual event will be held on October 26th this year.
Football fans in Green Bay are unveiling a memorial for former Packers quarterback and coach Bart Starr. People gathered once again for the annual tradition of painting the fence that faces Lambeau Field across Lombardi Avenue this year, paying tribute to Starr, who died in May. Starr was Super Bowl MVP in Super Bowls 1 and 2. The Packers will kick off the NFL's 100th season on Thursday with a game against the Bears down at Soldier Field. We'll have a preview in sports.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti joins us now with a look at our forecast.
After a warm and humid day today with some thunderstorms to start the day and a couple of isolated showers and storms this afternoon, it's going to feel a little more fall-like. Those temperatures are already starting to fall. You can see on the time-lapse from the WISC Skycam how gloomy and ominous the sky looked this morning with the thunderstorms rolling on through. And then you can see after morning cloudiness, we started to see some sunshine this afternoon. A couple of clouds popped up. They really didn't develop into much of anything, at least in the Madison area. A couple of showers and thunderstorms developed east of town, but skies were clearing out close to sunset. Doppler track, nothing across Wisconsin. You can see just how sparse those showers and thunderstorms were right along the cold front, and they really didn't develop until they got into far southeastern Wisconsin, now into Michigan and Indiana and moving away from us. The live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing generally clear skies here. We've had just a few clouds overnight. High today 81, but the low temperature is the current reading of 66. We were warm and humid last night, but the air really drying out now. The air is calm. The humidity only 68% because the dew point temperature has dropped from around 70 mid-afternoon to 55 now. And you can see high temperatures stayed in the 60s behind the cold front up to the north, whereas La Crosse hit 85, Madison 81, Milwaukee at 80, and now those temperatures have dropped into the 60s through much of southern Wisconsin. Milwaukee still at 71. We're starting to see 50s over about the northwestern third of the state. Upper level winds right now coming in out of the northwest, and that's starting to bring down cooler air, but those winds will also help to give Dorian a push out into the Atlantic Ocean. There's the latest in the storm just off the Florida coast, but you can still see the bands of moisture and thunderstorms moving inland. This is Tropical Storm Fernand, but it's going to stay just south of Texas, bringing some showers and thunderstorms into the Brownsville area, but mainly going to affect Mexico. And then around here, that northwesterly wind flow now keeping things pretty quiet. And here's the cold front that came through with the showers and thunderstorms. You can see it now into Indiana. North of the front, temperatures already in the low 50s in northern Minnesota, 60s to around 70 elsewhere. South of the front, those temperatures still around 80 degrees. But look at the difference in dew points. Ahead of the front, those dew points in the low to mid 70s. Behind the front, fall-like air with dew points in the upper 40s in northern Minnesota. And those temperatures will cool off pretty rapidly tonight. So on future track, that northwesterly wind flow continues, keeping our weather dry for tonight, tomorrow night, and right into Thursday and Friday as well. The next chance of showers and thunderstorms, or actually showers really, will probably be Saturday night into Sunday, and those showers really not showing up until late in the day on Friday, well off to the west of us. So overnight, look for partly cloudy skies, cooler, less humid, low temperature at 54. Tomorrow, a partly sunny and cooler day with our high temperature at 69 and winds out of the north. On future track, pretty quiet overnight, low temperatures mid-50s, northerly winds keeping high temperatures in the upper 60s for tomorrow. Tomorrow night, temperatures drop to around 50, but the winds start shifting to the south, and that will allow temperatures at least to get back into the lower 70s on Thursday afternoon. As we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, temperatures still in the upper 60s on Friday, or mid-70s on Friday. Saturday, a high of 69, but the clouds start thickening up late in the day, and that will lead to some shower chances Saturday night into Sunday. Some thunderstorm chances on a warm front Monday night into Tuesday, bringing temperatures back into the mid-70s for the middle of next week.
Wow. I'll talk about September.
Yeah.
Making an entrance.
Feels a little cool out there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. The Brewers try to fan their fading playoff hopes tonight at Miller Park. This story coming up at sports.
Brewers are still in the chase for a playoff spot, but the playoff spot is getting dangerously close to being out of reach. 25 games left. The Brewers are 4 games out of the second wild card. Former Brewer Zach Greinke pitches for Houston tonight. He has a 1-0 lead. Until this, Eric Thames doesn't miss the high fastball, and it goes a really long way. That's a 3-run homer for Thames, and just like that, Brewers have the lead. Scary moment, though, in the fifth. Ryan Braun hits one deep to center. Astros center fielder George Springer makes the catch, but lands awkwardly, and his head slams into the wall. He's carted out, but was responsive. Manager A.J. Hinch said after the game they're waiting for test results on Springer, but they're hopeful he'll be okay. Final score, Brewers 4, Astros 2. Day off tomorrow. Cubs at Miller Park Thursday. The Cubs have just beaten Seattle 6-1 at Wrigley Field. The Cardinals beat the Giants 1-0. The Packers play the Bears in Chicago Thursday night to open the NFL's 100th season. Everyone wants to see how the Packers offense works under new head coach Matt LaFleur and new offensive coordinator Matthew Hackett. Devontae Adams says the offense could get a little offensive Thursday.
It's been kind of rated G a little bit so far through our preseason, just so we don't give away all of the goods. But, we have a chance here to open it up pretty soon. So, it's definitely a good feeling.
Could it be an R-rated Thursday night, are you saying?
It could be a rated X movie. We'll see.
Goodness, better tune in Thursday. If you go to Soldier Field to watch the game Thursday night, you can check out the new statues there. Today, the Bears unveiled bronze tributes to two of their most influential figures, running back Walter Payton and Papa Bear George Halas. The two statues, both 12 feet high, they weigh 3,000 pounds. It's part of the celebration of the NFL's 100th season, begins Thursday night with the Packers at the Bears. Badger football moves up 2 spots to 17th in this week's Associated Press College Football Poll. No change in the top 7 teams this week. There are 7 Big Ten teams ranked in the top 25 in the college football poll. Girls volleyball tonight, the new rankings are out, and Waterloo is ranked #1 in the state in Division III. Tonight, Belleville visits the #1 ranked Pirates. First set, Waterloo's Brooke Mosier with the back set to freshman Riley Dessler, and she gets the kill. The Pirates take the lead, but later on in the first, Belleville's Erin Kittleson to Alyssa Caskey. She hits it off the block, and the Wildcats come back to take the first set. Second set, though, the Pirates' Jocelyn Wolf sets it to Mosher. She slams it for the point, and the Pirates go on to win the match tonight in Waterloo. The Prep Mania High School Football Game of the Week takes us to Oregon, where the Panthers host Stoughton in the battle for Highway 138. It's the start of the Badger South Conference season. We'll be there live streaming the game on channel3000.com Friday night, 7 o'clock, Stoughton at Oregon. And at the FIBA World Cup in Beijing, the United States and Turkey are in overtime. The Bucks' Chris Middleton, 2 free throws, makes them both to put the Americans up 93-92. The Turks have one last chance. It's Ersan Ilyasova for the win, but no dice. Final score in overtime, USA 93, Turkey 92. And we'll be right back.
Gary's back. Things clearing out humidity-wise, cooling off.
Yeah, the last of those thunderstorms into Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. So that's the front edge of the cold front, because behind it, things very quiet. You can see temperatures right now in the mid-60s here and continuing to drop with temperatures, dew point temperatures in the mid-50s. That's about how cool we'll get by tomorrow morning. So look for highs tomorrow near 70, low 70s Thursday, and mid-70s on Friday. Should be dry into Saturday. Some shower chances Saturday night into Sunday and about the early part of next week.
Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.